Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
The week of Easter, tens of thousands of Christian worshippers make a pilgrimage to Jerusalem to walk the Via Dolorosa, which means the way of suffering, the road Jesus supposedly walked. Some of them symbolically carry their own cross. They visit the stations of the cross, where by tradition certain things happened to Jesus. When my parents visited Jerusalem, their tour guide took them to each station where they took pictures. At Station 5, Jesus allegedly stumbled and caught himself by placing his hand on the wall, leaving a bloody handprint. Generation after generation of pilgrims have touched the spot on the wall. However, as the city has been destroyed and built up again, experts estimate the actual streets Jesus would have walked would have been about 20 feet below the current street level. So none of these pilgrims are truly walking in Jesus' footsteps. A preacher I heard once talked about touring an excavation site in a small Galilean town and touching the actual doorstep of the synagogue because he was sure Jesus had preached there and walked in that particular spot. My dad said when he visited the Holy Land, they had built a church on every spot Jesus had been known to walk, except one, the Sea of Galilee. But when we talk about walking in Jesus' footsteps, we don't have to make a pilgrimage to the Holy Land to do that, do we? We don't have to carry a cross down a street or touch our hand to a wall in a certain spot. Walking in Jesus' footsteps involves suffering as he suffered, treating other people with love and compassion as he did, boldly standing up for what's right, forgiving those who persecute you, being Jesus to those in the world, letting his light shine brightly through us. 1 Peter 4:12-14 says, "Beloved, do not think it strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing has happened to you, but rejoice to the extent that you partake of Christ's sufferings, that when his glory is revealed, you may be glad with exceeding joy. If you are reproached for the name of Christ, blessed are you, for the Spirit of glory and of God rests upon you. If we suffer as Christ suffered, no matter what our trial, we will get to know him better. We will mature and become more Christ-like. As Jesus told his disciples the night he was arrested, if the world hates you, you know it hated me before it hated you. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. As James says, trials should produce joy in us. And Paul says that we should glory in tribulation, because through those things, we develop perseverance, character, and hope. And God's love is poured out in our hearts. And when God's love and comfort are poured out on us, we can't help but share that with others, as 2 Corinthians 1:3-5 tells us. Because of his comfort, we can comfort others, just as Jesus did. Walking in his footsteps through suffering and trials means we also need to have his attitude. Now that's the hard part. Philippians 2:5 says, "Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus." What kind of mind did he have? It wasn't self-focused or conceited. It wasn't him taking care of himself and avoiding all arguments and difficulties. It was an attitude of humility, obedience, forgiveness, love, compassion. He glorified the Father at every step. How are you walking in Jesus' footsteps today? How do you find yourself out of step with him? As you think of Jesus' ultimate obedience of dying on the cross, what step of obedience is the Lord calling you to right now? How will you need to die to self, to obey, and step out in faith to follow him?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through his word. You can listen to other episodes at our website, which you can find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.